But it's like a thing that I realised I just do. Did you just have to miss? Yeah, and then she said, oh, will you think about it? When she was going off to the party now. And of course I was such a sleeping at night. But anyway, I tried to do a search for her, pictures in the area, also where they were going. And then I sent that to her.
Standing in a line.
Hello. Hello. Did you enjoy the Apoca Disco? Oh yeah, Justin's got her hands in the air. Put your hands in the air. I saw Grandmaster Flash the other day. This is not. I saw Grandmaster Flash the other day. Put your hands in the air if you saw Grandmaster Flash. Do you know what? He was telling us to put our hands in the air rather too much. It was like, I've done it once, Grandmaster Flash. Hip hop is 50 years old. I'm like, I know, but I'm like. Anyway, so you don't have to put your hands in the air. And this afternoon, I'm not going to be asking you any particularly difficult questions, or am I? But first of all, we're going to start. So we're going to have a bit more disco after Chrissy. Then we're going to have a quiz after Chrissy, which is going to be done by the delectable Sue over in the corner. And after that, we're going to have the second work in progress showing of Apocalypse Kapow. It is a work in progress. We have to remember that. If you don't know what a work in progress is, Google it now, because it's quite important. But first, thank you so much all for coming in the rain. I would like to introduce you to the winner of the Smoke and Mirrors Gong Show, Bristol, June 2023. All the way from Caerphilly. Please welcome Chrissy Derbyshire.
Sorry, I don't know why I just let you flounder there. Right, you all right? Yeah, if you're all right, can I get a kind of enthusiastic whoop? Woo! No, I can't identify with that at all. If you're not all right, can I get a groan of pain?
I can't see you.
There you are. You can't see me, hello? Is this better? Hi. There we go, that's better. You can all see you now, can't you? Right. I'm glad most of you are well. I'm not. Mentally or obviously physically. I've got a bit of a weird brain. It gets very preoccupied with things that really aren't worth its time. It's the master of the completely unsolicited deep dive, my brain. But I have a coping mechanism. I do, and I would recommend this to any of you, stand-up comedy. Immediately lends all of my neuroses a bit of gravitas, because I'm talking about them into a microphone rather than to my therapist like I should be. So the thing that my brain's been preoccupied with lately is a certain poem and what I think it says about us as a society and as a species. I didn't write this poem, it's a traditional one, you probably know it, but I don't think we're asking enough questions about it. Okay, it starts like this. Monday's child. It's fair of face. That's nice, isn't it? Monday's child is fair of face. It's a nice thing to say, a good start. Monday's child is fair of face. If you're born on a Monday, you're probably very attractive. At least I assume that's what they mean by fair. But fair can have a few different meanings, can't it? Fair can mean just okay. An appropriate answer to how was the Ed Sheeran concert? Fair, you know? So it could be that Monday's child has a passable face, which is damning with faint praise, really, isn't it? Fair can also mean blonde or a travelling carnival. Neither of which can be applied to a face, really, can they? So I think you can rule those out. And of course, fair can mean the opposite of unfair. So it could be that Monday's child has the face that they deserve. Or that in terms of faces, Monday's child isn't unjustly disadvantaged. Monday's child, like most children, has a face. I think it's reasonable to assume that they mean fair as in pretty, but you can see how full of meaning, how dense with meaning this poem is. You can see why it's been percolating around my brain for so long. Did I say percolating? Yes, I did. Do I say it every time I do this set? Yes, I do. Is it the right word? Not sure. We move on. Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child, full of grace. That's nice too, isn't it? 2 for 2. Love that for them. Tuesday's child is full of grace. If you're born on a Tuesday, your body's very graceful. You're probably very good at dancing, football, stripping or something. Actually, if you want to be a stripper, you're best being born right on the cusp between Monday and Tuesday. Because then you have the attractive face and the grace. I might be overthinking this. If you know the poem, you'll know where we're going with it now. Wednesday's child, not attractive, not graceful. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Oh. And it's not even woe like Keanu Reeves, like, whoa, no. No, it's woe as in misery. If you were born on a Wednesday, your defining feature is that you're miserable. Screw you if you were born on a Wednesday, according to tradition. So I was born on a Wednesday. I was ADAB, assigned depressed at birth, and in my defence, I have met, if not surpassed, my potential, so go me. To quickly finish off the poem, Thursday's child has far to go. If you're born on a Thursday, you pop out of your mother's downstairs area, the midwife immediately drop kicks you way across the field, the crowd goes wild. That's what happens if you were born on a Thursday. Friday's child is loving and giving. So if it's not so much stripping as sex work you're into, ideally you'd want to be born on a Friday. Saturday's child works hard for a living. He has to, because he's not attractive or graceful or kind. But at least he wasn't born on a Wednesday. And finally, the child that was born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and homosexual, and that's the end of that poem. What a load of rubbish. Don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely fascinating and delightful the way we as humans find patterns and meaning in things, but it can lead us to doing weird stuff like trying to put human beings into categories. And I think that's just a fool's errand. Like, am I supposed to be alphabetizing you? I bet you're not in alphabetical order, are you? Bet you haven't even sat in alphabetical order. What am I supposed to do with you? You absolutely cannot colour code people, that's just racism. But a lot of people still try to put people in categories. Like, for instance, I don't know about you, but I have some personality traits. Yep. I have some tendencies. Yep. There are some things about me. And a lot of people would tell you that all of these personality traits, all these tendencies, all these things about me were preordained by the zodiac sign that I was born under. And I don't think I'm an exceptionally complex person, but I don't think that my horoscope can account for all of me. Like, when I recently put both my hands in the bin in a public bathroom because I thought it was a Dyson Airblade, my first thought wasn't, typical Gemini. No. No, my first thought was, why is there half a Nando's in here? Weird thing to do, eat Nando's in the bathroom, but that person was a Libra, am I right? No, I'm not, because it's bollocks. Now, we need better ways of categorising people, you know, if we must categorise people. And my pitch for this, okay, bear with me, the Dewey Decimal System. For those of you who don't know, the Dewey Decimal System is the system that librarians traditionally use to categorise different types of books. And I'm not saying that I identify with books more than I do with human beings, but I'm absolutely saying that. Are you surprised? Look at me. I think I could only come across more like a librarian if every time you laughed I shushed you. Yeah, the Dewey Decimal System, 999 categories, still not enough, but better than 12 or 7, and it's a lot less cryptic. I think it kind of works. I've started tentatively assigning some people some Dewey Decimal numbers. Yeah, my crush I've got under 611, anatomy. My ex, 616, diseases. And for myself, I wasn't sure, but in the end I went for 157. That's previously emotions and now no longer used. But these days we have a lot more vocabulary that we can use to talk about ourselves. There are different ways that we can identify ourselves, different ways that we can want other people to talk about us. I think that's fantastic. But there are some people out there who get very cross about it. Oh, they get so cross. I've been online dating recently, and I came across one guy's profile. I didn't come across it. As soon as I saw his bio, my vagina just, no thank you, sorry, closed for business. But his bio genuinely said, I refuse to acknowledge anyone who uses pronouns. Now my grammar nerds will already know where I'm going with this. I like to think that that's a dead profile now, because at some point he had a kind of grammatical epiphany about the words I and anyone, and immediately by his own rules ceased to exist. The way I like to identify myself, though, the kind of box that I prefer to put myself into, is to do with the way in which my brain is broken. Like a lot of my friends suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression because I was born on a Wednesday. I also have ADHD, and one of the symptoms that I experience has the best and the least appropriate name. Okay, it's a thing called executive dysfunction. Or executive dysfunction. It just means that you find it really difficult to kind of get going and do stuff. But what a name, executive dysfunction. Oh, ambassador. With this executive dysfunction, you're really stopping me making my dinner or brushing my teeth. Sorry I couldn't attend your soiree tonight. I was attending an executive dysfunction. I was just disassociating for a full hour, just looking at my arm in the middle of getting dressed. I've actually been quite brave lately, been trying some new things, some new material on stage and in life. Yeah. On stage I've been trying to be funny, thought I'd give that a go. And in life I've been working towards becoming a viable human being. And it's been a bit of an uphill struggle, not going to lie, it has been an uphill struggle. Most struggles are uphill, really, aren't they, when you think about them? You hardly ever hear of struggles in other directions. Sisyphus chasing a boulder down a hill, like, shit, catch it. But yeah, it has been difficult. It's not going very well. For a start, there's the ADHD. So yeah, I have ADHD, I have poor impulse control, poor short-term memory, I'm clinically depressed, I have poor short-term memory, and I'm an introvert. And so, as a stand-up comedian, I sometimes find it quite difficult to connect with an audience the way I would like to. I find it difficult to do the kind of crowd work thing that a lot of comedians do, because I don't really understand small talk. I don't really know how small talk works. I mean, I could try. I mean, like, Hi. Do you like weather? Do you like weather? No, I don't know. It doesn't work. It's something to do with weather, isn't it? It is. It's definitely. The other thing that comedians do sometimes is they'll roast the audience, won't they? They'll be a bit mean. I'm not good at being mean either. I'm not very good at that at all. Like, again, I could try. Like, hi, sir. I assume your self-esteem's quite good because you're a middle-aged white man. Is it all right if I roast you a little bit? Yeah? Okay, right.
Give it your best shot.
A band you like is probably derivative. Look at you with your face there on the front of your head. What a cliche. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, the trouble is, though, if I'm my natural self, that's a lot more intense than a situation like this really calls for. Like, again, I could, like, hi, you all right? Yeah? Not constantly haunted by the knowledge that we all eventually turn to dust?
Obviously.
How do you feel about the crippling existential dread of being a vivid panoramic soul trapped inside a decaying meat prison, barreling towards death? I'll get there. Can't imagine why I'm still single. Well, I begin interactions with phrases like decaying meat prison. I was asked out by a guy once, though. I was chatted up by a guy. It didn't really work out, mainly because he used the unusual strategy of attempting to chat me up by insisting, increasingly angrily, that I was some kind of Asian. His words, some kind of Asian. I'm not. I'm actually half Eastern European, which means that I'm very expressive and I take up space. And I'm half British, which means I'm really sorry about it. Means that more than 20 years after the fact, I still haven't quite forgiven myself for the time when I accidentally touched a guy's crotch in Covent Garden, doing what can only be described as too much gesturing. I was only 16, it was the first one I'd ever touched. Not the last. Nearly the last. It's been a while, put it that way. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I just feel like, we've connected. It's not even awkward anymore. It's just really natural. We're just flowing. We're just vibing. Do you want a date? Any of you? All of you? Yeah. Coffee, sex, cohabitation, marriage? Yeah. We'll work out the details later. You may be the happiest stand-up comedian alive. Thank you. But yet, actually, just because I don't have a long-term partner doesn't mean I'm necessarily lonely. There are actually two men in my life. One of them is one of those plush sharks from IKEA. You know, those oversized, cuddly sharks. We're not officially married yet. He's more of a common law husband. I do sleep with him, though. Not like that yet. And the other person in my life, of course, is my cat, Bernard. And I thought that I was being quite funny, quite original, quite cute, giving him a just some guy kind of name. But it turns out there's a bit of fashion these days for giving cats names that sound like they're just a bloke you met down the pub. Like, sometimes you'll go around a friend's house and you'll see, say, the most beautiful, purebred, clear blue-eyed ragdoll cat. It's gorgeous, it's sumptuous, it's all lush fur and deep purrs. It looks like the kind of thing someone might wear, if they were awful. You find yourself producing open tins of salmon that you didn't even have on your person to begin with. Your body's just producing them like a biological imperative brought on by how beautiful this cat is. It's got a little hint of evil in its eye, but you know that you would die for it. You'd kill for it. And you say, "My God, what a stunning cat." And your friend says, "Yeah, that's Ian. He's a dickhead." Dogs, on the other hand, dogs are treated like gods in this country. And, fair play, from a spelling perspective, it's not a big leap. Also fair play, because dogs are lovely, aren't they? Even as a cat person, I can understand why dogs are so loved in this country. But sometimes you'll go around a friend's house and you'll see their dog. Or at least you've been reliably informed that it's a dog. If you didn't know better, you might think it was a very old, threadbare, dirty hand puppet that's been turned inside out. Or an octopus that's been dropped on a sticky rug. It looks like it's been long dead, it's been buried, it's been dug up again. It smells like that too, but unaccountably it's still moving. It's either got no eyes or too many eyes, depending on which angle you look at it at. You can't tell what part of it is which. You think you see its tongue lolling about, and then it puts weight on it. That's its leg. It looks like if it threw up, and that's a small if it threw up, you might leave the vomit, scrape up the dog. That's what it looks like. But you, because you're British and you're polite, you say, "Oh, what a lovely dog." And your friend says, "I know. This is Angel. He's a Shih Tzu Pug Doberman cross. He's the most beautiful thing in my life." And at that point you can kind of see where they're coming from. Because you've seen photos of their baby. I actually have a kid myself, not an eldritch monstrosity, just a regular kid. Although I would say that, wouldn't I? But I love being a parent. I really love having a kid. I think it's so moving being privileged to watch this screaming potato gradually blossom into a weirdly dependent flatmate. But the thing about parenting is that it takes up so much of your time, of your mental energy, so much of your soul, that when it's time to stop parenting, it's really difficult to turn it off. Like, you do find yourself pointing out moo cows to strangers on the bus. The worst one of these that ever happened to me was my partner at the time had a friend around our house. So this was two guys in their late 30s, kicking back, playing cards in my living room. And let me tell you, it really does change the whole vibe of an evening. When you go up to your long-term romantic partner and his friend, who you don't know very well, lean over them and say, "Will Mummy get you a drink?" Sorry, was that you've been there? Can we unpack that a bit? No, so yeah, I did that, and yeah, I had to have a threesome that night just to save face. You've been absolutely brilliant. I unfortunately have been Chrissy Derbyshire. Thank you. Sorry, please ignore me. I wasn't here. You too. Chrissy Derbyshire!
That was amazing. We're gonna have a few more minutes of Apocalypse Disco. So fun. Time to have a wee, get a drink, come back, and then we're gonna crash straight on in 10 minutes with the Apoca quiz. See you in a bit.